Alola! I'm the official narrator. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames started by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today we're looking at Oranguru and... I guess we're ending it right here then, because it doesn't have the other suggestions. That's strange. Well, we're going this far, and just Oranguru, that's it. So these links here, that's where we're going. I'm used to it having other things below this, but okay, cool, whatever. Oranguru. Did you see a stupid meme coming? Because we all fucking did. Sorry, guys. Memes are not good ideas for nicknames. No one cares about Harambe. Harambe was never funny. I don't like meme nicknames. But if you like cancer, then sure, go ahead and name yours after a stupid joke that was beaten to death within like a week, and people still fucking quote it years later. Okay, we'll go over two real quick. I don't really care for Professor X, but sure, if you want to, that's an idea. I understand Psychic type. I don't really think Oranguru really specializes in mind reading, so I don't know, but sure, whatever. And then Gyatso, which took me a second to remember. I was like, I don't know who this is. It's the guy who was like Aang's mentor before he became a block of ice. Not really sure what the relation to that is either. But whatever, just for the sake of it, those are some references, I guess. And since right below I see King Louis, if you're gonna call it that, you know, put King in front of it rather than just calling it Louis. It's better than nothing. Still doesn't strike my fancy. Alright, here's another one I'm not super familiar with, and I like the idea with Passimian as II because monkey ball, and you got the ball, so, you know, like, I got that. And then he's trying to pair him because they're kind of like counterparts to some degree, so he's going with Gongon. I don't know shit about Super Monkey Ball, so Google says Gongon is II's rival. I know that it exists and that it's very, very difficult, and yeah, so there's that for you. That's, I mean, I like the idea, I guess, of II, at least for Passimian, because Monkey Ball. Holy shit! Whoa! Ho! Okay, alright. Prefacing this one, there's a poll. I was going to read the comments before starting, but damn, that comment fucking knocked me out of my socks. That was a good one. Okay. Going over real quick, the poll though, Dr. Zaius, that's a Simpsons quote in the Planet of the Apes musical. Gorilla Grodd, which I know is our comment suggestion, and if I remember right, the Flash villain. Okay, telepathic ape. I didn't know much about it. I want to say I know of... I think he's in Injustice 2, if I remember right. And that's why I know Gorilla Grodd exists, but I don't know shit else about him. So thank you for clarifying that he's a Flash villain. King Kong, Donkey Kong, I don't really particularly care about those. I don't know, I feel like Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong just feel too cliche or obvious, so it just doesn't strike my fancy. I don't know who the fuck Joe Young is, nor Bonzo, but yeah, that's a good one. I was actually surprised to see this one. So this was something I was thinking about as a nickname idea, but my brother suggested Oranguru being the best choice because super hyper intelligent monkey, and I was like, oh yeah. See, my thought was I was thinking about, and I'm not super familiar with Star Fox, I'll confess to that right now. I want to say I don't know, there's like a phase of the Andross in Star Fox 64 where he's just eyeballs or brain in two hands. And like, to me, I bet if I played that game as a kid, that probably would have been nightmare fuel, and I love that. So I thought like, oh, Reuniqueless, because he's like, you know, fucking disjointed and all that. But then my brother was like, okay, yeah, but Andross is a super smart monkey, so Oranguru. And I agree with that. And Andross is the one thing I have written down, and I mean, Andross is actually probably what I'll side with, especially based off the results we've seen thus far. You know, I think actually I remember Furious George being a nickname for Primeape. I want to say I remember that. Furious George is a better name choice than Curious George, but again, I'm going to stand by maybe put that on Primeape rather than Oranguru. And also just the thought occurred to me, I was like, there's probably enough monkey Pokemon to build a monkey-based team. And like, I want to build a team of cats and dogs, but maybe I could do one of monkeys too, depending on the options. I don't particularly care for most of the monkey Pokemon anyway, But it's just an idea if you want to do something creative instead of the same copy-paste bullshit that the competitive scene does. Think outside the box and stop plagiarizing everybody else for a change. I don't particularly care for the idea of Dr. Banjo from Futurama, but it's not the worst. Like, it definitely works in terms of, you know, being resembling it and fitting, so that's fine. It's just the name is pretty much the thing that gets me, and it's like, well, it's a Futurama joke as well. And I don't know, there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's just not my flavor, I guess. Ape Escape was a thing I was thinking about when reading about the Super Monkey Ball thing. I was like, Ape Escape's another series. But I don't remember if any of them have names or anything. I don't know. I played Ape Escape back in like 2001 or 2 or something like that. So that was a long time ago. I don't really remember shit about it. So I don't know. But if there's something you can think of based off the Ape Escape series, let me know. Cool. So talking about Planet of the Apes, never actually seen it, but I have seen Caesar a bunch on here. Now I know what it's referring to. You know, when I see Caesar, I'm gonna think Julius Caesar first, then Caesar salad. It's just my 2 cents, but I guess sure, if you want a more prominent Planet of the Apes character, there's that. But yeah, Dr. Zaius is gonna be, I feel, probably more known from Simpsons. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that it's a real character. Okay, I'll highlight this one. The one in particular that gets me is Ego, because I feel like that's a very nice Binding of Isaac Bayonetta style nickname. That's just a simple word, and I'm like, that sounds good. You know, something about that I just like, and it also can work with psychology too. But just for the sake of it, I also want to highlight this because just in case people wanted to look at things that I didn't highlight on the game facts, which I saw librarian a bunch of time in reference to something. I don't know. I don't particularly care. It didn't interest me. So just in case you know what the fuck that means, sure. Alright. Highlighting Lanky Kong because I'm tired of fucking seeing it. I saw it like 12 million times. It doesn't fit. Sorry. If you want to use Lanky Kong, try fucking Passimian, the lanky fucking monkey, not the one that sits there and is stout. Oh, one's got long stretchy arms, and the other sits and holds a leaf. I don't know why the fuck everyone's like, Oranguru, yeah, Lanky Kong. No. If you want to be that guy, because I've also seen a lot of comments about that, and admittedly, I'm that guy sometimes too. Everyone's like, hey man, you guys are like picking gorillas for nicknames after an orangutan. So this guy was like the one guy who was like, hey, you know how everyone's talking about like Dr. Zaius or Caesar from Planet of the Apes? What if instead of naming it after that, you named it after the orangutan Maurice? Maurice is just a name. That's just a person. It's not a common name. You probably wouldn't find it at Disney World. But still. Okay, we've reached what I'm classifying as the bottom. We looked through everything. Pokemon.net didn't have anything, so that's why I clicked this, but not this, because, I mean, first off, they're the same sites, there's no point to, but just in case you want an explanation, spreadsheet has nothing. We did have our one comment suggestion of Gorilla Grodd highlighting again, but other words, I didn't write anything down. I will tell you that the most popular things were, what was it, King Louie, which in that Games Fact thread, there was like at least 10 people being like, how come no one's talking about King Louie? Guys, fucking learn how to read. Damn. That, Harambe was another obnoxiously popular thing. Planet of the Apes was brought up a lot. So that's a summary. I'm going to be honest, I really didn't expect Oranguru to have as many, take as long as it has. What are we up to? 29 minutes. That's kind of surprising. Most of it was spent on game facts. What are you going to do? So, the one I like best, though, and like I said, we'll probably end up using is just Andros. Like, to me, it's fine. It's super smart monkey. Is it technically not an orangutan? Sure, whatever. I don't really care. A lot of these semantics comes down to how much you give a fuck. So it's like, although I might point out like, okay, well, this isn't technically that. It's like, okay, but how much do you care? I can't stop you. I can't control you. You guys do whatever you want. I've seen some things you've suggested, and some are really good, and some are really awful. But you know what? Nicknames are subjective. So, with that in mind, feel free to post your subjective comments or ideas, nicknames down below. Give a thumbs up to the ones you think are good with other subjective votes so we can see what subjective nicknames are the most popular and the most liked, because everyone has a different viewpoint and opinion. You know what's funny? You can have a comment with a bunch of likes, but if you thumbs down that comment, it doesn't do anything. Why do we even have a thumbs? I remember when it used to mean something. When you could thumbs down a comment with 30 likes, and it would go down to 29. It'd be like, oh, sorry, this one received a dislike, so therefore it's lower now. And I also remember back in the early days of YouTube where there used to be comments with negative likes. That was the Wild West. Anyway, comments down below, thumbs up to ones you think are good. Tell us what you'd use, what you'd recommend. Monkey, gorilla, orangutan ideas down below. And if you guys have any fun ideas for teams, like, let's talk about that too. What would you pick on like a monkey team? Because you know there's options like, of course, Infernape, Primeape, Oranguru, Passimian, Ambipom. Like that right there is 5. I just pulled out of thin air. There's probably more.